The first sling I'm going to show you today is a finger sling made out of a strap of leather. Now, this is a really rough and tough finger sling, and it's really hard to get the right tension. What I mean is, when you tighten this up, it's either going to be so tight that you feel like you're choking your fingers, or it's going to be so loose that you're going to have a tendency to grab your bow because of how easy it rolls off. It does eventually wear in, but the downside to it is by the time it wears in, it's usually stretching, and then you're probably going to have to make a new finger sling. So it is kind of handy though, because it does fit very nicely when you do get it to work. Right on your fingers and right on the bow. There's nothing hanging, it doesn't take up a lot of space, and since you can adjust it and since you're making it yourself, you can kind of customize it to fit your hand. But then again, this is a very basic one, and it's kind of unforgiving in its nature. Next up, we have this very unique finger sling. It's actually more of a wrist sling for your bow. Your hand fits in, sling goes on top of your hand like this. When you shoot, of course there's going to be a lot more bow here, it just catches just like that, and there you go, you didn't drop your bow. But at the same time, you're not like having at the same time you don't have a death grip on your bow, so then you're going to have a better form, better shots. It's a very unique design, especially for a recurve. Now, you're going to see these a lot more often on compound bows, and I think they probably work a lot better on compound bows. At the time, my brother was using it, and it worked well for him. He has since switched to a regular finger sling, but for those of you that are having a problem with a finger sling, this is a pretty good option. It is definitely more expensive than any of the other finger slings I'm going to show you here, because generally you're going to have to buy this from a company that makes them. Unless, of course, you're good with leather and looks like paracord, you could probably make your own. Now, another finger sling option that I've seen other shooters use, I personally have not used them myself, is the finger sling would attach around your wrist, and it would then either loop to the other side of the sling on your wrist, or it would attach to your middle finger, so that when you shoot, it catches the bow, and then just uses your wrist as the support to hold the sling, so you can keep your bow from dropping. I find it to be a very unique way of doing it, and it definitely seems to work well. I've seen a lot of really good recurve shooters use this technique, and it seems to work for them. Of course, it's not my favorite, but it's always something to keep in mind if you're trying out new finger slings. So last but not least, and yes, this is my favorite, right here we have the finger sling I use. All it is a flat piece of shoelace. We then sewed the one end together once we got it to the correct length that I like. The shoelace is really durable. It has minimum stretch to it, which is really awesome. Shoelaces are fairly soft, so then you're not ripping up your hands, but at the same point in time, they're nice and strong, so you can put a loop into the one end, and it fits really good to your finger. It doesn't want to fall off. And then, when you're on the other side, you can just take your other free hand, even if it has the finger tab in it, you make another loop, and voila! You now have your riser caught, and it cannot get away. Just some things you got to watch out for this is if you're not keen on sewing, you do have to worry about your connection of the two pieces here. Of course, you could always just tie a knot and then let the rest of the shoelace just hang, which is fine, as long as it's not too long and it's getting in the way of the bow working properly. Other than that, you just want to make sure that you don't leave it too long, or you're going to find yourself shooting the bow going forward a little and then dropping, and you're going to find your hand like all the way up here because you made the finger sling too long. But with a few tries, a little bit of practice, I think most people thoroughly enjoy the shoelace finger sling, and I would say it's probably the most popular and most used finger sling in the the whole recurve shooting circuit that I have seen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a different setup for your finger sling, I would love to hear about it in the comments section down below. It would be really interesting to hear about other finger sling options, because there's tons out there. Just some more of the more popular ones / the one with your wrist. This is just unique, but it works, and that's what counts. Just use what works well for you, and that's going to help you shoot well. Other than that, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and as always, happy shooting.